Hello and welcome to the Entertainment Vortex. We are at Brendan Theaters today watching Lady Bird. This is the bonus review. It's a movie that I just saw today because they watched a horror movie and JB had saw earlier and really loved. So we wanted to share this with you. Plus, there was no pop culture news this week because there's no news that came out. So this will be a bonus video to take place of that. Lady Bird is an interesting movie. It is impeccably acted. I have to give it credit where credit is due there. Impeccably. There are so many scenes during this movie where the acting is top notch. And there are a couple of specific scenes where the acting is probably some of the best I've seen in years. With that being said, I have to give that credit where it's due. And I feel that its Oscar nominations are warranted, just strictly for the acting and the way the scenes are paced and laid out. But with that being said, I was not fulfilled with this movie. JB and I had a very long discussion about it before I came on camera because he absolutely adores the movie and feels it connected on a really good, and you'll see his review in just a moment, but I did not. I did not connect with this movie at all. I thought I was at the beginning of the movie and towards the middle because all of the side stories were fascinating. There's a lot of stuff that happens in her life during this time frame, and all of those side stories were very fascinating to me. I was interested. I was engaged. I wanted to know how they were going to resolve and how she was going to grow from it. The problem was the main arc of the movie is the relationship between her and her mother, which they start out with a bang right at the beginning of the movie. But I didn't feel that worked at all. I feel that both characters did a good job acting the part they were given, but it didn't feel natural for me at all. It felt broken. And I don't mean broken like a relationship broken. I mean broken like written broken. Like, there's no way logically that she would do all the actions she did, and on the flip side, she would do all the actions she did. Now, I have been told that it is very possible that I just don't understand because I didn't live it. I was very blessed to have two parents that cared very much, and although I had a bit of a rocky start with my dad, it all ended up fine. I feel that because of this, maybe I wasn't the target audience. Maybe I just don't understand.
So this is one of the movies that I wanted to review back when it was released, in December, and it was something that we just didn't get around to. It wasn't released at the right time because it had one of those weird limited release to full release schedules that sometimes happen with movies that are, considered award season type film. But I always love getting to see these, and I always love getting to talk about them. Going into this movie, there was some hype, and I feel like it lived up to a lot of that hype for me. The story of this film is a relatable one. It's one where, it's about a young woman who's having difficulty kind of identifying herself and finding out what really makes her tick. She's in that 16, 17-year-old mentality where you're trying to find your place in the world. You're trying to find out where you belong. I really resonate with that type of a character. I had, similar struggles when I was younger. I butted heads with my parents, and I butted heads with my teachers and with the administration at my school. I had potential, just like Lady Bird has potential. So this character makes a lot of sense to me. Being an adult now, running up to my 30s as fast as I can up at this point, I also really respect and understand a little bit about the parents as well in this situation. Like, the characters that they've made in this story really make a lot of sense, and you could see yourself in some of their decision making and some of the way that they talk to each other. Maybe not quite as funny because these characters were hilarious, just the banter back and forth. And I found myself constantly clutching my stomach laughing. Those things are important in this type of a film. When there are these heavy weighted moments, they're also offset and counterbalanced with these moments of laughter and with enjoyment. I feel like the way that they made these characters connect to each other, I feel like they really knocked it out of the park. They made a story that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people, and that's how you get people to, put their butts in seats and check out a movie.
Breaking this movie down as an actual story, looking at the concept of the hero's journey, if you've studied storytelling or film at all, I don't feel it works. I don't feel they followed it, which pretty much every movie followed. And because of that, the conclusion to the story just didn't work for me. I feel like I didn't get one. I felt like I opened myself up emotionally to this character and her experiences, and I get to the end after this emotional roller coaster to be told it's done. And there really was no resolution for you. They left it completely open. The resolution it gives would be the climax of what I felt the movie should have been. This is where the movie crescendos, not where it ends. And that really bothered me. Really, really bothered me. Because of that, this movie is frustrating. I walk away from this movie almost angry, like I've been slighted out of an ending. And after doing such a good job of building this character and building her relationships and everything that happened to her in the course of her last 2 years of high school, which is where this takes place most of the time, it's maddening to me. I still can't wrap my head around it. It's been like over an hour since I stopped watching this movie, and I still can't wrap my head around it.
The cinematography in this film is very pleasing to the eye. It's in a locale that's actually near us. It's based out of Sacramento. I don't know how much filming they actually did in Sacramento. Having it based around that area, they talk about things that we're familiar with here where we're from, and that's something that like kind of, it sticks out when you're watching that kind of movie. Like, oh, I know what they're talking about. And those types of things are another way that it helps to kind of immerse you, especially if you're somebody who's from this area. I mean, not everybody gets that benefit, and I definitely felt that while watching this movie.
I'm having trouble saying that this is a good movie, even though it is masterfully crafted and well acted. The story is so frustrating to me that it kind of breaks the personal piece of it for me. Now, as a critique, as a film critic, of course, you should go both ways. In my opinion, a film critic should always look at a movie from a personal perspective. How did they connect emotionally? How immersive was it? And then also from a technical perspective, where you look at things like how was it shot, how was it acted, the lighting, sound, things like that. From a technical perspective, this movie is a marvel. It looks gorgeous. The acting is top notch. I mean, top notch. I am blown away by some of these actors, and I've never seen them before. The way it's shot and the way some of the scenes flow and the way that they kind of take you one way and they give you another, those are amazing. A personal connection, I couldn't make it with the ending, and it ruined the whole experience for me. I walked out of the movie frustrated. I walked out of the movie feeling like I didn't get it, like I missed something. That isn't what I look for in movies. So, in my opinion, technical marvel, personal letdown.
While not giving away too much of the story or the plot points or too many motivations about the characters, I felt like everything is really well placed, and I feel like everything kind of fits together like cogs. It's something, like I said before, that will be relatable to a lot of people, and I feel like that's really important in cinema. Representation is a huge thing. Overall, I would give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. Something that I wish we had talked about sooner, maybe when it was a little bit more in the lexicon, but definitely something that I'm glad that we talked about with the upcoming award season.
I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. And the reason I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 is because I do believe it has good pieces. I believe that it has, like I said, all the technical aspects of the movie are amazing. The acting needs to be called out. But I go to the movie for a personal experience, and I did not get that at all. I feel that I am left in a worse place after seeing this movie than I was going in, and that's not what I want from a movie. So I'm curious to know, what is your favorite independent film? Go ahead and put that down in the comment section below. Super curious to see. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We do at least 4 videos a week, including 2 gaming videos, a movie review, and a pop culture news review, which is Funko Pops. We also have t-shirts and hoodies now available. If you're interested, click on that link down in the description. And as always, we hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.